The world population is growing exponentially. Demand for food is increasing every day. Rainfall has become uncertain and ill-distributed, which may be due to climate change and global warming. Uneven and untimely rain has disturbed the rain-fed farming a lot. Drought is a common natural phenomenon since the ages, but the effect of drought is extreme now. Even the irrigated areas are not safe. Water storage capacity of the reservoirs have come down due to silt accumulation. Many times those dams also get half-filled. Indiscriminate and unscientific irrigation resulted in marshy land and saline soils in most of the project areas. As a result, the world started facing shortage of food grains. Scientific inventions took man to Moon and Mars, but we cannot eat anything else than food for our survival. The shortage of food will be still worse if we do not take immediate and necessary action. It is said that the Third World War will be for food and water. In India, 60% of the total cultivated area is rain-fed, 40% of the rural population, and 60% of cattle live in dry lands. In the total farm production of the country, 42% of food grain, 75% of oil seeds, more than 90% of dicot grams, sorghum, groundnut and 70% of cotton come from dry land and rain-fed farming. Even 61.7% paddy is also being produced under rain-fed condition. This means we have to achieve more in dry land farming to enhance food production of the country. Irrigated crop can yield 3 times more than the dry land crop. But there is a limit for the expansion of the irrigated area. Most of the high-yielding varieties and technologies are developed for irrigated farming. But now, we are compelled to give more priority for dry land farming for sustainable farm production. We find dry lands in rain shadow areas after the heavy rainfall regions. In India, 84 districts are totally rain-fed. Karnataka state has 75 to 80% cultivated area under rain-fed farming. Rajasthan stands first in the country and Karnataka in second position in dry land area. The major portion of high rainfall area also depend on rainwater for crop production. Cultivation in these areas is categorized into dry farming, dry land farming, and rain-fed farming depending on the amount of rainfall received. Farming in the areas with less than 750 mm average rainfall is dry farming. Drought in the mid-cropping season, failure of the crop, etc. are very common here. Cropping duration is hardly 75 days. Farming is not possible without the conservation of rainwater. Crop production in the areas with 750 mm to 1150 mm rainfall is dry land farming. Cropping period is between 75 to 120 days. The farmer will succeed in one crop with rainwater conservation. Crop production in humid regions with more than 1150 mm rainfall is rain-fed farming. Cropping duration is more than 120 days. There is no shortage of water for one crop. Sometimes 2 crops are also possible. Soil erosion is a severe problem in dry lands. Everything is uncertain due to deficient and erratic rain. Evaporation and transpiration rate is more due to high temperature. Many times, there will be acute shortage for drinking water also. Normally, the dry land will be less fertile and saline sometimes. Farming here is like gambling with nature. Only the drought-tolerant crops like oilseeds, dicot grams, sorghum, foxtail millet, kodo millet, and other minor millets are successful here. Organic matter content of the soil is less. Large area, monocropping, very low yield and income, poor economic conditions of the farmer, etc. are very common in dry lands. All these lead to many ecological, health and social problems. Sustainable farming for better yield and income can improve overall situation. To achieve this, it is advisable to go for integrated farming with soil and water conservation, organic farming, agroforestry, keeping livestock, and farm-based subsidiary activities. Let us study soil and water conservation practices first. Humus content of the dry land is less and soil surface is hard. Hence, percolation of rainwater is also less. This leads to soil erosion, and fertile topsoil layer is lost with runoff water. To avoid this, put efforts to conserve maximum amount of rainwater on the farm and make structures to collect excess rainwater for later use.